If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or just somebody that wants to move to the next level with building your net worth and your wealth, I am telling you this episode is for you, man. I dove into the 5 investments that you really want to make, and then we had a special encore with my special guest that was on, even diving into more of his financial journey. And I can't wait for you to be a part of it. Come on in, have fun. We are going to have a great time in this episode of The Difference. All right, we rolling?
Yes, sir.
We in the house, man.
Yep.
It's been a minute since we seen you on camera.
It's been too long.
You been hiding?
No, we've just been locked in.
Yeah.
We've been locked in. You know, obviously, it took a little bit from the move and kind of getting a good workflow down, I guess, for not just myself, but even for yourself and the team. I don't know. Finally, we've just been able to it seems like right now, this is we're just taking a breather.
Yeah.
Even though we're both on, right?
Go.
Yeah, it feels like this is like how you say, you said earlier, you're going to have fun with this, it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've just been locked in.
So what I love about today's episode is not only do we get to talk about the 5 investments that every business owner, entrepreneur, you're a business owner, I'm a business owner, most people that tap into this podcast own businesses. So we get to talk about the 5 investments that every business owner should have, but we also get to talk about you a little bit too, because you've been on your own financial journey.
Yep.
And I think one of the things when we first sat down damn near a year ago, and I was looking for somebody who was a beast with the camera, and we should probably talk about a little bit about why these entrepreneurs should have some sort of, presence on social media, should be producing content and a ton of content. But when you and I sat down, I was looking for somebody who basically could follow me around with a camera, make stuff look super dope, just document my every move, even if it was with my family or just whatever, going to yoga or whatever. And that was a year ago. And one of the things that you and me talked about was okay, well, I'm willing to grow with you and think life is different. But what I would like is for you to help me on the financial tip as well. And I want to be one of the first in my family to just change the game. And so where you started a year ago to where you are now is markedly different. So I'm excited to dive into that as well.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk about it, man, because the company has been doing great. We've expanded. We've expanded probably more than even I would have wanted to. Mm-hmm. And I think the scope of work for everybody has changed for sure. But I think about, when I was thinking about this episode, I said, okay, I think most of us are looking for the F word, and that's freedom, right? I think so many people that come to us, they're actually doing pretty good in terms of the income that they're making, but they're still searching for that freedom. How can I get to a place to where my life can run on autopilot? How can I get to a place to where I don't have to grind so much? How can I get to a place to where I can let my hair down a little bit? And how can I get to a place to where I can pass on generational wealth? And a lot of times what we find is they're always trying to do that just by the revenues in their businesses. But I said, nah, man, there's 5 things that we got to do. So we're going to dive into those today, Tony. And I think the first one is since most people are building businesses, then the first really crucial investment that they should make is building their business and investing back into their business. So what do you think about that, man?
I think that's actually very, very important. And I think a lot of businesses, I don't want to say fail. A lot of businesses do fail, actually. But I feel like a lot of businesses, they have constant hurdles or constant things they need to catch up on in terms of expenses or whatever. But I think it's because, and you were even just saying it right now in terms of building like generational wealth, and even for what I had said when we first hopped on, right? I was like, man, I want to build that for my family. But I think it's a lot of it, yeah, it comes down to not investing into yourself and into your business, right? Like people, like for me, I'm going to use that tripod as an example, right?
Okay.
I needed a tripod. We obviously have, 3 tripods in this room. I really didn't like need it, but in my mind, when I said I needed it, I said it because I know that me buying a tripod, spending $200 or $300 on a tripod, is what's going to make me $3,000 to $5,000, right, on this job or on this gig, right? So it was a no-brainer for me. It was like, okay, I'm going to buy this thing for my business because it's going to make me X, right? So me personally, I'm like, that's where like my mindset flipped. And a lot of people don't look at it that way. A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, however, they don't look at it that way. They just see it as like, dang, I have to come out of pocket, or I have to come out, and drop 500 on this. And, how am I going to catch up from it? Or how many things do I have to sell to make this back? When in reality, I was like, I'm got to buy the tripod. Yeah. I wasn't worried about how I was going to make it back, or I wasn't worried about, it coming out of my bank and about something else that I needed to pay later. Nah, I was like, I need the tripod because it's going to last me however much longer to make X amount of money. Yeah, like I'll make it back. It's so funny that you say that, because when I think about like reinvesting back into my business, I'm so quick to do it. I'm probably super, like more aggressive than most people are. Because I can see that if I make this investment, then on the back end, if we do what we're supposed to do, and the business does what it's supposed to do, we'll get that money back. On the personal side, though, I'm almost the opposite. So I'm like, I'll make a multi-$1,000 investment into the business in a drop of a dime. Yep. If somebody's like, "Oh, let's go out to this 5-star restaurant," I'm like, "Bro, there's no way." Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and chime in on that one, because we went on a podcast tour. And it wasn't like, I was just thinking about this. It wasn't something that I was like complaining about or anything, because I brought my own meal prep. Remember? Sure. But I remember on the tour, I think we maybe went out twice. And I was texting some of my boys because I was in Vegas, and they're like, "Bro, where are you going? Are you gonna go turn up? Are you guys gonna go to the kitchen, the Chef Gordon Ramsay, or just wherever, right?" And I'm like, "Bro, we're back at the Airbnb." Exactly. We're eating. I'm eating meal prep, and you're eating your almonds or whatever, Yeah. But I say that because I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is like where it starts, though, right? Like people's bad habits or their poor spending habits or whatever. It's something like you would think, and the fact that my boys were asking me like, "Oh, where are you guys going out, or where you?" It's because they're so used to seeing all the flashy stuff, and they're so used to seeing people when they go to Vegas, they spend $5, $10 whatever, right? Sure. And then when we went, it was obviously more intentional, right? We went, on the podcast tour. But I just started breaking that down deeper, and I'm like, man, I'm glad to be in this moment because a guy like me, right, that comes from that upbringing that like, oh, yeah, amigo, just go grab, we'll spend whatever, right? And we'll just figure it out later. Well, I mean, it starts as something as small as that, right? Like having the discipline to not go out and splurge, not go to a 5-star, not go and, buy freaking a table and buy bottles or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to just talk about that because, people get a different perspective from you. And I get the, opportunity to be with you every single week. And then even when we go and travel, I see it firsthand, I witness it firsthand, so I yes, I agree. So I see it because, we've put so, I'm sure you've put so much money into the company, and I'm sure plenty of other things, right? But for yourself, I'm like, I come in sometimes and I'm like, you wearing the same tank top, the same hoodie, the hat, like, you know me, I like hats.
Yeah.
So, but it's, I think people need to hear, they need to see that that's actually you.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
Like, you don't
absolutely.
care about the rollies or.
I really don't. And it's so funny because, I think a lot of our listeners and viewers know that we recently moved to a new neighborhood. It was really important for us to find, a school district for our kids, and especially thinking about our oldest, Ezra, going into high school. And he went into the most elite high school in the area that we're in. And I was asking him, how, just recently on our road trip, I was asking him how everything was. How would he rate his experience his first month being in this new school district? And where we are culturally, it's a little bit different. It's mostly like Indian Americans, Pakistanis, and I would say like Asian Americans, right? And so it is a difference between where he was before. And I said, how's your experience been? And he goes, it's a little odd. And I said, why? And he says, like, not too many of my new friends are materialistic. And he says the way that they come dressed to school and just like even their bags and everything, it's not like what I experienced before. It was all about what you were wearing, the shoes that you were wearing, how you're presenting themselves. And here it's like the highest academic school that you could be in. One of the highest in where we live. And so I just thought that was so interesting because probably the net worth of all these kids' parents is very high. Let's just say that, very high.
Multi millions.
Yes, definitely.
That's
and
crazy.
I would say probably every kid, I'd be shocked. Whatever, right? Like their families do very, very well.
Yeah.
But they come from cultures that don't value a lot of the things that we think that people who do very, very well financially value.
That's so interesting, because when we first got to the older house, I think we talked about the influence of the music, right? We talked about the material stuff. We talked about all that stuff. I think you were telling me that Ezra was into like the sneakers.
Sure.
And so now that the script has flipped, I'm curious to see like what they're actually like flexing.
Yeah.
For lack of better terms.
Their brains.
Yeah, right? It's got to be their intellectual.
That's the flex.
Yeah, it's got to be that.
I mean, it really is about academics, and it's about intellectual elevation. Even think about like my 6-year-old right now, right? Like we were walking down the street and we're meeting all these new neighbors now, which I love that. We've never been in a neighborhood where our kids had like friends, right? We're at our last property, it's freaking 5-6 acres. Everybody's got big gates around their houses. Like it takes forever to drive through the front gate and get to the front door in everybody's
Security
house.
at the front.
Right, and there's not a lot of kids around, but here there is. And so we met an Indian American family down the street, and their kid, we asked, what do they do after school? And what they do after school is they do what now my kids are doing after school, right? Like they go to engineering classes and advanced math classes and Chinese school, and like that's what they do. Like they're not playing like basketball.
Wow.
Right? Like that's not what's happening. Like I would get out of school and all I could think about was football and baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
And how can I do that? That is not what happens. So when you see, I mean, the top 5, when you look at the demographics of the top 5 groups that are the wealthiest in the United States, first you get Indian Americans, then you get Taiwanese Americans.
You said wealthiest in the U.S.?
Yes.
Okay.
American Americans, Taiwanese Americans. You get Chinese Americans, you get Jewish Americans, and you get Filipino Americans. And when you peel back the curtains and you look at, okay, what do these folks do? What are the commonalities that they have? One of the commonalities is they're highly, highly focused on academic achievement. And you and me don't even have to make fun of them. Their culture, their family, it's going to make fun of them if they don't excel in academics. So this is what these kids are focused on at Ezra's new school. They're not focused in so many. Now they do the other stuff. Not to say they don't play sports and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
It is just when you look at sort of like if you looked at the hierarchy of what was important, then those things. Number one for me was sports.
Yeah.
Sports is going to be like number 7 for them.
Yeah. Okay, but okay. So do you think that that's because I think I remember you talking about this a few times, right? And I'm sure it has a lot to do even with upbringing and whatnot. But do you think a good majority of wanting to play ball, go to college, right, like get a scholarship, be in the NFL, like the whole nine, a good majority of that came from your friend group, your surroundings, right? Like everybody around you was locked in, right? And so it's really just a thing where like you got to do it too, right? And so do you think that that's like that's what's taking place even like now with? So I'm trying to think about how I'm gonna word it, but I'm just gonna say it.
Sure.
Especially within this area, right? You said this is a $3 million house.
Yes.
Okay. All these houses, multi-million-dollar house, or I'm sure the net worth, right?
Yeah, this is like on the lower end.
Yeah, dude, we went to the local pool house, like the clubhouse, and I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
But okay, so I was asking that question because I wonder if it's the same, but just in terms of like academics, the peer pressure, right?
Sure.
The societal peer pressure.
Right.
Where, like how you said, their friends aren't going to make fun of these kids if they don't like step up. It's the family, right? It's the pressure that's going to come down from the family of having to like either make it to that level of like being a doctor, being a lawyer, right? Being some type of like
engineer.
Yeah, engineer something. And so do you think a lot of that has to play even like with your surroundings or like your circle, right? I know we talk about it a lot. You say like, you know, zip codes eat people.
Yep.
And so even if we bring it down to let's just say a younger scale, right? Your friends, your students around you.
Yeah, I mean, so you're talking about an environment, and you're also talking about something called social synchrony.
Yeah, exactly.
So those things play a massive role in development and the things that we're actually interested in. Here in this area here, most of these kids, here's a good story for you. So we go to basically back to school night for Ezra School. And they have all of the academic advisors that are out, and they have a table set up for every discipline, right? So you have a table for math, you have a table for science, you have a table for PE, you have a table for art, all this stuff. You got about maybe like 20 different tables in there, give or take. We walk in, I'm black, my wife is Mexican American, mixed with Caucasian. My kids look Dominican or Puerto Rican or something, right? So like, like, and most of the families there are the demographics I already talked about. And so I walk in and I'm like, wow, this is super cool. We're all happy. We're in this new area. It's a new experience. We don't really know anyone.
Yeah.
And we start to go around to each table, Tony, and we realize that there's nobody at these tables. Like there's nobody at the history table. There's nobody at the arts table. Like there's nobody at the PE table. We go around and there's 3 tables that that has by far the majority of people at. And it was math, it was engineering, and then it was science. I've never seen that in my life. So why? Why? It's because of what you just talked about, the environment. When these people grow up, same thing in Filipino families. If I saw a random person who was Filipino, I'd be like, how many nurses are in your family? Because that is culturally appropriate in their family. In Indian American family, it's Chinese American, then it's going to be something in the STEM, right? Science, technology, engineering, math, right? Like, and if you're outside of that, then yes, your cohorts, your friends, your environment it's going to pressure you to get into that. Why are you not excelling in this? The family is going to say that. Why are you not excelling? My brother-in-law came here last weekend, and we were sitting in the backyard, and he heard like all of like this symphony of music. It was on a Sunday, and he was like, "What is happening?" And I go, "Oh, well, around here, like you have to play the violin, you have to play the cello, you have to play the flute. Like you got to play something." You got to play the piano. And so you just hear, if you walk up and down these streets, you just hear all these different instruments.
And so there was like kids from the neighbor, like around here?
Yes.
Oh, I thought they were like your kids.
No, we haven't been indoctrinated to that part yet, right? Like,
not yet.
We got the engineering, we got the sciences, we got all that stuff, but we haven't started with the music. But to your point, culture dictates that. Yeah. And so, you know, the culture that I grew up in was about basketball. What was about wearing the fly gear, was about having the crisp haircut. Like you had to, or you were not going to make it in the circles that we ran in. You were going to get laughed up and down the street. And so you see that, and you see culture everywhere. Culture is going to dominate and dictate success.
Yeah, I was going to even say it ties even into the first point, right? Like even I would say for myself, it's a little different, I guess, but in terms of content creating, like for me, I want like the next best camera, right? And so I could only imagine a lot of business owners, you know, one of the challenges they could be running into is not having the financial discipline, right?
Sure.
So when you don't have that, then you're obviously not going to invest as like thorough into your company. But then you look at your friends or your peers, right, that also have businesses. They got the AMG, right? They got the G-Wagon. Like they have different things that I'm sure they want to keep up with because their friends are business owners and their friends are making more than 6 figures a year or whatever. And so, yeah, it's like a constant, it's so crazy, but I think that's a societal thing just in all aspects.
For sure.
And I think it's really, really big when it comes to businesses as well.
Yeah, so, you know, we invest in businesses. Investing into a business or in your business is going to give you by far the greatest return on your dollar. And when I say by far, and I didn't understand this, T, I didn't get it like years ago, but I remember having a conversation with a buddy of mine named Josh, and I had like a couple $1,000s to invest. And I was in my early 30s, and I wanted to figure out like all the stuff I know now. I wanted to know that stuff, and I didn't know, which is why a lot of people come for us to consulting. But I was like, you know, I got a couple thousand. Where should I invest? And he goes, you should start a business. And I go, well, I can't invest into a business because, you know, what if it doesn't do well, and what if I lose the money? And the way he thought was like opposite. And he thought, well, what if it does work, right? Like it's going to be very hard to invest $2,000 into something and have the potential of making millions. Like but I didn't understand this back then. Yeah. And I think about the business that sort of put us on the map. I invested $200. And when I started taking a step back from that business, we were doing about $2 million a month in revenue.
Jeez.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Where can you invest $200 and be able to produce $2 million a month in revenue? That's $24 million a year that the business is doing. Yeah. Now, I'm not making $24 million, maybe a couple. But where can you invest $200 and start making couple $1,000,000 a year.
Yeah.
Very difficult to do that, but you can do that in a business. So that's why, like, for anybody that's listening to this or that's watching this and they're like, if I had some money and I wanted to invest, what should I do? If you don't have a business, invest and start a freaking business. And if you do already have a business, then invest back into your business, because just like you were saying, you can force appreciation in the business. You talked about the tripod. That tripod is making you and your business more valuable. So you're forcing appreciation. You're forcing your value cap to rise, right? And the same thing if you were going to go get better cameras or better equipment or more personnel or whatever. Here's something I'll tell you. I remember, so I don't have a lot of stuff that like I spend money on, even from the business side. But one thing that's really important to me is like experiences and travel. So when I fly, I really like flying first class. Like, it is hard for me not to fly first class. I'm being serious, man. Like, I absolutely hate it. It's the worst experience for me.
I could imagine.
To like go and sit back there with everybody is listening to babies crying, like all the stuff.
Everybody in the other classes.
I can't stand it, man. But somebody said something to me that almost made me change my love for flying first class. And they said, okay, bro, how often do you fly? And let's just say you fly first class, especially back then. Let's say I flew twice a month, okay? And my ticket is $2,000 a ticket. So that's $4,000 a month. I got 12 months in a year, that's $48,000. So this dude was like, I was at a conference and he goes, so you would rather spend $48,000 on first class tickets instead of bringing another person into your company and expanding your company even more? I said, because that's a salary. It's $50,000 a year. You can hire some good people or a good person, right? And I go, wow, okay. And so I wasn't willing to give up the first class tickets, but I had to look at other places in the business where I would spend on things that probably other people would see as frivolous, so that I can expand the business, force appreciation in the business to make the business more money.
Yeah, I think that brings up a good point. I think in one of our previous episodes where me and you sat down, I told you about a buddy that like he said laziness was like hereditary, right? And so now we fast forward, and now like he's locked in. He's in the gym, right? Like he had a nice little weight loss surgery, so he's feeling really good, right? He's been dating. So, but I say that because I saw a video of someone on Twitter or X, and they were breaking down laziness, right? And the guy was talking about, and he went deep into it, but he was talking about how the only reason why people label something as lazy, or they say, they're lazy, they don't want to do this or they don't want to do that, is because of the amount of work that's going to take from them putting in to get to the thing, right? Like, it's not even the actual thing itself.
Sure.
You may actually get through the thing in a pretty good time frame, like, right? So it's not going to be as difficult, but it's the mindset, just thinking about the fact, like, I'll give you an example. I think my family, when I was still over 500 pounds, they wanted to do a Disney trip, right? And in my mind, I was like, dude, I'm going to have to walk everywhere. I was like, no, there's no way, no. But the fact that I was already thinking about that was already what was stopping me. And so I say that because even now, right, like the fact that you went into depth, the guy really broke down the salary and exactly what it was going to cost, right? Like for me as a business owner, I was lazy to like do the math in comparisons as to what my return would be on an investment, right? To where like when my tripod broke, in my mind, I was already like, okay, if I spend $250 on this tripod, right? I have these amount of gigs that are coming up. I'll already make this back in like less than an hour.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think what happens is business owners, and even I'll speak for myself, right? I would get very lazy and wanting to actually sit there and break down what that return is going to be, just because I was like, man, like all this work that's going to take to get into it. Right. Like I am now at that place where I would love to eventually hire somebody to even follow me around. Right. Obviously now I'm making different investments. I bought those, Meta glasses, and I've been getting content from them, and it's been cool. But it's that exact, like, I think how you say it comes down to the mindset ultimately. Because that's what's going to be, I think, in my opinion, that's what's like the make or break in the individual becoming successful, right? Becoming a multimillionaire, having a company where people, feel excited to work for. And so, I said that because, the laziness part of it was a big thing for me. And so like when we get into the laziness, I think it has a lot to do even with the business owner. Yeah. Right? Like because they're so constantly stressed on how they're going to catch up. It's really simple. Let's just sit down and let's break these things down. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Sometimes the easiest things to do are the hardest things to do. I had a mentor always say, it's simple to do, it's just easier not to do. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people. I think why investing into a business or into your own business is probably the best investment that people can make. It's because a lot of what you just talked about, man, it's like I can invest back into infrastructure. I can invest into hiring a bigger team. I can invest into marketing, right, to get our message out there. I can invest into more sales so that I can close more deals or have more of our products or services. I can invest in partnerships. Like if I have enough money, one of the reasons why businesses don't do well is they run out of money. But if I have enough money and I can keep this machine going, I can keep investing into ads to make sure that people know, then I will get an exponential return on that investment.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say even if they don't have the money though, right? Like that's where it separates you from the greats. Sure. Right? Like taking the risk.
Yes.
I've come up on a year now since I bought my camera. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like, dude, am I really about to drop $7,000 on this? Right? Oh my God, Jay, that $7,000's already made me. Yeah. I'm like, it's already been made back. Sure. Right? Even much greater than I would have even imagined or wanted to even plan for. But I think it's even the lack of taking that risk, right? You know how they say you got to spend money to make money. Sure. So even you seeing that's like, I think it's also a game changer even for the individual.
And I think that's one of the reasons why you can make so much money in business, because it does require you being different. And one of those differences is taking massive risks. Most people are not going to be willing to do that. Even people that's watching this or listening to this right now that don't have a business. And the pure fact of me saying invest into a business scares the hell out of them. Yeah. Right? Because it's an unknown. So that's why when things are unknown or things are risky, that's where you get the greatest upside as well. So that's why you want to keep investing. Let's talk about number two. Number two investment that everybody should have, especially business owners, is real estate. And real estate was something, man, I thought I was going to make all my money in real estate. It's funny, it might turn out to be that way. As you know, we're getting into real estate development now. And I think that might be the most lucrative venture that we've had to date. which I think it's going to be saying something. But let's talk about real estate. You know, I brought up last night, I was doing a live for a group of people. And I brought up just some standard properties that I found on Redfin or Zillow or whatever. And all I did was just like, I went down to see when this place was last sold. I just brought up a condo. It was like $400,000 in Long Beach, California. Or excuse me, it was like 500, I think 500,000. So anyways, this place was sold in basically like 2001 for I think like 150,000, and it's on the market now for like 600,000. So real estate is so beautiful because if you buy it in the right area, then you can 2x, 3x your initial capital in it. And so the rule of money that I like to play by is like, how fast can you double your money? So if I got $20, how fast can this 20 go to 40? How fast can this 40 go to 80, 80 to 160, 160 to 320, 320 to 640, 640 to over $1,000, right? $1,200, whatever. Like, you want to see how fast can you double that? And in real estate, man, just off of appreciation alone will drive up your net worth. Plus you get the cash flow. Here's why I like it, especially for business owners. It's because if you start to accumulate enough of it, every piece of real estate that you buy shortens the amount of years you have to work. Every piece of real estate that you buy
Yeah, it took me a second. Hold on.
shortens the amount. So let's just say, just for my business, I have to keep running this business until I'm 60. But if I buy a piece of real estate, now I only have to work till I'm 59. I buy another piece, I only got to work till I'm 58. I buy another piece, I only have to work till I'm 57. I buy another piece, I only have to work until I'm 56. Every piece of real estate you buy is going to shorten that amount of time that you have to work.
I hope somebody's taking notes, man, because
I'm just giving game.
Yeah, no, it's and that's, I don't know how many times we're gonna bring it up in this episode, but yeah, like just speaking and thinking that way is what's gonna separate you and what's gonna get you into that investment,
Yes.
whether it be into your business or real estate. In my mind, as you're saying this, I'm like, that's it. That's it.
That's it, bro.
Right? It sounds so simple, but it's just, man, yeah, like, you gotta surround yourself with the right people too.
Bro, just think about it. I remember, okay, so I go, I'm building this coaching organization. I basically am not doing so great at it. This was, back in 2013. And I'm thinking, okay, I read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was in college. I had no idea what I wanted to do. This dude is all over the infomercials back then. It wasn't really like, we didn't have social media like we do now. But, you stay up late at night, these infomercials come on, and this Asian dude keeps jumping on, and he's talking about how he went from nothing to something, and he's doing it through real estate. So I bought his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Didn't know what he was talking about, but it planted that seed like, okay, real estate. And so once I started, building my organization, I go, okay, I know that I want to make my money work for me just as hard as I'm working. I think real estate's going to be it. And so we start on that journey, and I remember buying my first investment property. And I was talking to a mentor, and I was thinking about buying something that was like far away from LA Metro. And he was like, don't do that. Find something that's closer to LA Metro. I said, why? Because he says it's going to appreciate a lot faster. I go, even if it's in a crappy neighborhood? He goes, yes. I go, why? He says, because the demand is going to be higher. Now, this was before COVID and everybody started working at home and all that stuff. Now, it would probably be a little bit different because everybody, like I even see my neighbors, I'm used to being the only one just walking around aimlessly. Now I see these people and everybody just seem like they're hanging out because a lot of people work from home now. But even if you just think about that, real estate typically is going to double in its value every 10 years. Every 10 years. So if you bought a place today, let's just say you bought a place for $500,000. We're in 2025. In 2035, believe it or not, I can expect for that place, if I bought it in a good area, to be worth somewhere around $1 million.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy? It's so stupid. So we hear it all the time. Our grandparents bought houses for $37,000 and now the dang house, they're 65, 70 years old and the house is $2 million house. How the hell does a $37,000 house become a $2 million house? Because about every 10 years, you're going to see that property double. That's why. So even, I look at one of my first investment properties, I bought it for $446,000 in 2015. Right now, the place is about close to $900,000. So my net worth just went up substantially. My net worth went up a crazy amount because for the $446,000 house, I didn't pay $446,000. I only put a little bit of cash down.
Yeah.
But my net worth gets all of that upside. Plus now we're renting out that place to where we're getting cash flow every single month, which is increasing my net worth. So the appreciation on the house has gone up. So if I wanted to borrow against that house, I can go to the bank and say, give me a loan for that. I can use all that money tax-free, right? My net worth has gone up and I get cash flow from my rents. So you can see the more properties you buy, how you don't have to depend on your business or a paycheck, right? Because every property is increasing your value and your net worth. So you get one, I might have to work till I'm 65. Now I work till I'm 64. I get another one. The same thing's going to happen in that one.
Yeah.
Now I drop down to 63. I get another one. Same thing's going to happen in that one. Now I drop down to 62. I get another one. Same thing's going to happen in that one. So if I have enough of these things, I could effectively walk away.
Dude, this episode's going to be really good.
I hope so.
No, I think it's going to be really good. And the reason why, though, obviously everything that we're putting down, but I don't want to get sidetracked. Sorry. The reason I was saying that is because that also ties into number one, right? So if you have real estate, you're investing into real estate, you own the property, then what you do is you just take money, fix up your place a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that it makes you more money.
Exactly. Yeah, reinvest it back. We have never, ever used our rental income for personal income.
And that's what I was going to say, too.
Ever.
Like, yeah, you get to the place also, too. And I think this is where people go wrong with when they, I would assume, because I can't say that. I don't own property yet. Yet.
Yeah.
But I think where people can go wrong is the mismanaging of the finances, the mixing the personal with the business.
Sure.
So, but you get to that place where like you don't even use your own money. You don't need to. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like it just. But again, it's the mindset, right? It's the things that you don't know, and then you get people that are just going to school you and put you on it.
Well, this is when we talk about mindset, and it's why I call, name my company Think Life is Different, because I started to realize that all of this stuff, when you peel back the layers and the onions and all that stuff. What's up, fam? I hope that you're enjoying this episode. Listen, I want to invite you to a 3-day experience that you will never forget. We call it Master Your Money Challenge. Let me break it down for you. If you're at a place in your life and in your business right now to where you're doing well financially, but you know there's an entirely different mountain to climb, I want to invite you to spend 3 days with myself and my team as I help you not just figure out how to make more money, but exactly in specific steps on what to do with it. Day one, you're really going to learn how to get clear on what it is that you want to do, the goals that you have in the future, And then we're going to build your own personalized financial roadmap. Day number 2, you're going to build the 3 plans that have gotten me to making multi-millions in investing, to where we really focus on being safe, being comfortable, and building a plan for wealth. And then on day 3, we're going to dive in and really go through all the different investing vehicles, which is going to be best for you and give you the greatest maximum returns. Go ahead and click the link right here in the show notes, and we hope that you join us. We'll talk to you soon. I want to invite you to pick up my new book, The Freedman and the Oak Tree. Now, I wrote this for people who are in sales and business and coaching and consulting, or you just want to accelerate success in your life, whether that be in finance or even in investing. Now, it's more than that as well, because I wrote it as a historical piece. And so what you're going to get is this beautiful story of sharecroppers really taking something that's minimum and figuring out the 5 laws of leverage to turn it into something where they can leave generational wealth. If you're into beautiful stories, and if you're at a place to where you want to level up your career, your business, or your finances, you want to get this book. Now, the secret is also we are turning this book into a film, so you're going to be able to see it on the big screen as well. Go on and grab this book and share it with at least 10 other people. You're a great example of this. I'm a great example of this. But when you peel it back, it all originates from how we think, right? Because that thinking process is now going to drive everything after that. It's going to drive our emotions, whether we take the risk or we allow fear to hold us back. It's going to drive our ability to take action. Right? It's going to drive our ability to work harder. Everything is going to come from it's going to drive our ability to see an opportunity or not see an opportunity. So everything comes from the thought process. When our students come to us, one of the first things that I do a Jedi mind trick on them is I tell them, we are no longer, because we have sort of like tenements. This is how we operate. This is how we think. This is what we believe. And one of the first things I tell them is we no longer think in days, we think in decades. Because if you cannot have a decade mindset, you're not going to have the delayed gratification to not buy the stuff you don't need right now. Right? Like I look at where I'm at right now, and it's because in 2015, I was thinking in 2025. Okay? And so like I could have bought fancy cars and boats and all that stuff. No.
The Rollies.
But all the stuff, right? $30,000 presidential roller, you know, I wanted it. And I say, okay, well, if I could take this, what will this do for Jamil in 2025? Decade-long thinking. What if I do my real estate development projects in 2025, what does that do for Jamil in 2035? Right? And I could take all the money I have and go do some really cool shit with it. But why don't I take it and why don't I start some development funds with it so that in 2035, when I'm 55 years old, I'll have a lot more freedoms than I have now. So if we don't have that decade-long thinking, that long-term thinking, then we're not going to be inspired to give up the things today to look really good, because we don't have a North Star that we're working towards. That makes sense? So that's how you build real estate, man. It's like, especially if you're taking your distributions or your income from your business and you're paying yourself well, and or if I just keep raising my lifestyle because my business is doing well, and I'm not stacking assets, I'm not investing back into my business, I'm not buying real estate, then what I'm doing is I'm systematically only depending on one source of income, which is not good, first of all, and 2, I'm systematically prolonging the amount of years that I have to work. Not good either.
No, and I think that it again, it ties into the very beginning of it, right? The mindset of it, all of it. because for me, where did it change? There has to be a change, right, inside somebody, where their mindset flips from I have to spend this just to make this, and then play catch up, or I spend this, I know it's gonna make me this, and if I just hold off on buying the Starbucks, if I hold off on buying the Rollie, if I put that right, the money that I'm gonna put down on the Rollie, let's put it down on a down payment on a property or like how you said, real estate or investment. And I think, like the mindset, and then especially I think it also comes down to the societal pressure, the upbringing, where you can't even begin to wrap your mind around something like that, right? Like for me, I now realize that I can make 6 figures off of content, right? I'm already working towards that. My next thing is I want to buy property. What the heck? You know, if you're telling me I don't got to do much work for it, right? In reality, I mean, obviously you got to do some work. There's going to be a little bit of work behind it, managing the property, the whole nine, right? But
you're not doing any work for the appreciation that's going to happen.
No, not
unless you force the appreciation. You just bought the place and you sat and you wait.
Yeah.
So that's why they say don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
Yeah.
Because history has told us that if I buy a piece of real estate today, that in 10, 20 years from now, that thing is going to be worth more.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what we want to do. I think that takes us into the third investment that everybody should be making, and that's investing into the stock market. I think inherently, Tony, the best investors should be business owners. And why I say that is because of a lot of the characteristics that you've already talked about, meaning you take risks when you start a business. I remember my best friend growing up, he always knew he wanted to be an attorney. I met the dude in the 4th grade and he told me that he was going to be an attorney. I was like, bro, I'm just trying to play handball, right? And I remember when he graduated from law school, he went to Loyola Law in Los Angeles, and he worked for one of the big law firms. I remember they gave him, I think his first salary that they gave him was like $150,000 a year. And bro, I was making like $30,000 a year as an inside sales recruiter. I got like straight A's in college and stuff too, and it didn't matter at all for me with my little sociology degree. But I remember after a couple years working there, he was thinking about starting his own practice. I remember he came to us, me and all of our fellas, and he was like, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? And we've always been super competitive. I was like, bro, go for it. Everything that you have done in your life, you've always been successful at. And you'll be successful at starting your own law firm too. And I could see him sort of ruminating over this decision. Do I leave $160,000 a year salary, or do I go and start my own thing where there's no guarantees?
It's a risk, yeah.
It's a risk. So even when you start investing, you can look at all the projections, you can look at, how these companies are doing, but at the end of the day, it's a risk. Will I win or will I lose? And most people don't want to lose, so they don't start, which is terrible. So stock market, why I love the stock market. Stock market, even over real estate right now, is more favorable to me. And I say that because I understand my temperament.
Your temperament.
My temperament. And my temperament is I'm lazy. I'm like your friend that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Now, my greatest quality is my ability to work hard. But I only work hard because I have to.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. Right? And when it's time for me to work hard, I'm able to go to different levels that I've seen other people be able to do. But that's not my desire, Tony. Like, I don't want to work hard. And so even with real estate, you mentioned it, you said there is going to be some degree of management and some degree of work.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that because I love the asset class. I'm okay with even finding property management teams, but still somebody's got to manage the management team.
Yeah.
Right? But with the stock market, bro, you can put it in and forget about that mug and just watch it go up. For me, in my temperament, right? You got to figure out what your temperament is, though. But for me, I love putting money into the stock market and not having to do a damn thing. Just put it in and watch that mug grow. Oh, there's nothing better, man. And you get the same sort of benefits that you get with real estate. You get the appreciation of a stock. I was analyzing Microsoft last night for some students, and in 2020, Microsoft was selling for around $200 a share. We're in basically September 2025, and it's over $500 a share
In 5 years.
in 5 years. Okay, so if you would have bought one share of Microsoft, I think it's closer to $600 a share, but let's just say you bought one share of Microsoft 5 years ago, then your money would have damn near tripled in just 5 years.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah, and that's just off of like that time it was what, like $100?
Yeah, like $100, $200.
Yeah,
Like how many times do we eat out
yes.
a week for $100? And where is that money now?
Yeah.
Where it's gone,
I was so mad. The other day I spent $17 at McDonald's.
right? Like
I was like,
you could have bought a piece of one of my favorite stocks for $17.
so mad, dude.
Right? But just on a very basic level, just think about when most people come to us, they have no idea how much money they're spending. We usually are able to shave off $4,000 to $5,000 a month just from their spending. Tony, $4,000 a month is $48,000 a year just in spending. What if you can give yourself a $10,000 a year raise just from cutting spending and you invested that?
Yeah.
Okay? If you invested $10,000 a month or $10,000 a year at just 10% interest over the next 30 years, you probably have, I don't know, $800,000 or something.
Yeah. I mean,
Probably more than that.
yeah, probably more.
Isn't that crazy? And what did you do?
I mean, you just cut.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You just put the money in there.
Yeah.
And you sat back. So what somebody who's inherently lazy like me, that's my favorite type of investing. Right? Like,
Yeah, it's true.
what do you do?
Yeah, especially like knowing you, right? Like, there's certain things that you just don't like to deal with. And I could imagine when you get to a place where your net worth is like that, you can just, you don't have to deal with that's where you reach that place of freedom.
Yes.
Right? That's where you reach that place of freedom. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have to do nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. So okay, so
nothing.
All right. So because I want to get into my plan, but I want to finish up.
Okay, so let's go on to so number 3 is the stock market. Hopefully I demonstrated why it's a wise investment. All of these vehicles are to help you get free. Remember, at the end of the day, freedom is what we want.
Yeah.
Options. I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. If I want to leave and go buy a place in freaking in Barcelona, okay, and I want to be
like
gone,
Colorado or something,
wherever you pick it, right?
Yeah.
You pick the place. If I want to leave and I want to be gone for 3 months, can I do that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, can I do that without having to go and get little odd jobs or find jobs there? No. Can I just go live? That's the question. That's the vision.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it all the time, being on that beach.
Bro, don't tell me nothing. I don't want to pick up a phone. I don't want anybody calling me. I don't want to have to, nothing.
Yeah.
Can I just go and do that? And if I can't, then I need to start building towards that. So I like the stock market for that. And there's all these little things that you can do in the stock market too, like never sell your assets, but take loans against your brokerage account. I won't even get into that. So number 4 is we need to invest in our network.
Your network.
In our network, yes. So one of the quickest ways to where you can scale your income and scale your net worth is by who's in your network.
Who you know?
Who you know. We all, man, it isn't about what you know. It's about who you know. Even when I talk to my kids about going to college, I talk about if you choose to go to college, the most important thing that you can do is I want you to go find the kids that have the wealthiest freaking families, and I want you to become like good friends with their mom and dad. Besties. Right? Like, because that alone, that one relationship is going to bring you more value than 4 years of schooling. Mm-hmm. Just that one relationship.
Yeah.
And so even with me, Tony, you've been with me for almost a year now. You have watched me invest a lot of money to get into certain rooms so that we can have more access to more wealth building material, right? Yeah. And so the people that you're around now, the problem is most people don't want to invest the money to be around these people.
Yeah. No.
And if you don't want to do that, then you want to take the long road.
Yeah, you want to spend 8 to 10 years of school.
Right. You want to take forever
100,000
to do something that you can condense in a short amount of time. And that's why I always say, don't take too long to do things that don't take that long to do. You want to write this down. Pay for the shortcut. Pay for the shortcut. So even look at some of the opportunities we have now in real estate development. I got those opportunities because I invested in relationships. Because I've paid a lot of money to be around people that have access to these type of deals. Here's a really unique thing is a lot of people don't share information with just anybody. They only share information with people that's within their groups.
Yeah.
We know this. We came up with it. You and me grew up in households where our parents said, "Don't we keep our information in this house? Don't you dare share your information with anybody outside of this house." The wealthy people do that too. They keep information for people that's like them. Oh my God! I hope people are listening. They keep information, they keep opportunities, they keep investment deals, they keep access, they keep knowledge to people who are like them.
As they should.
We all did it. Yeah. I ran with a group of guys that, man, we kept what we were doing with working out and on the track and field, the workouts we were doing, we kept it right within our 4 dudes.
Yeah.
As we should.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you think about it, right? Like, I wouldn't consider myself a gatekeeper. That's what the kids call it these days. But if I was, I definitely wouldn't. I would gatekeep to the person I was 3 years ago. Definitely to the one I was 10 years ago. Right? Because imagine.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's kind of like a double whammy, or it's like a 50-50 thing, because it really comes down to the person that you're sharing that with. Because they may or may not do something with it.
Sure.
Right? But imagine they infiltrate whatever information it is that you maybe were withholding or didn't want to tell them. And then somehow, some way, it just ends up messing up the entire thing, right?
And then mess it up.
Yeah, and then because you're somehow connected to this person, it just ends up becoming like a really bad domino effect. Or, like how you said, they save the information for somebody like them.
It's just natural. It's just normal, man. Like you do business with people that you know, like, and trust, right? Yep. If I don't know you, I don't even know if I can like you. I definitely don't trust you. But just like here, I'm in a new neighborhood, everybody's cool with each other. Why? Because we're all on the same street, we're all neighbors, we all got kids, we all have done something we had to have done something fairly decent in our lives, all of us, to be able to be on the street. I automatically trust these people because I know they probably had to do something that not a lot of people are willing to do. Right?
So
and so when it's time for us to do something that can bring in a lot of money, I want to go to people that got the money.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to share this information with John Smith down the street that's not in this group?
Yeah.
No. So you want to pay to be into the groups. Why? Because you elevate your value just by proximity. Well, I don't even know what you got. But if you're in this group, I assume you got X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So when I'm telling you about these opportunities, you get to ear hustle and you get to be a part of it just because you're here.
Yeah.
So we want to pay for the networks. We want to put ourselves, and everybody's heard this, but people don't do it. I invite people out probably once a month, once every other month for lunch. And I just want to know what they know.
Yeah.
I just say, I'll pay for your lunch. I come with my little notepad. And I just did this with a guy named George Kazaks, a real estate guy. And I took him out to lunch near the Block in Orange in Southern California. And I sat there. I said, where do you want to go? He told me. I showed up with a notepad, taking notes. Asking questions, taking notes. I got the notes on my phone right now. Right? Like I paid for that information. Now it was a lunch. It wasn't thousands of dollars, but that's what we want to do. We want to pay for the network. Number 5 is invest in yourself, right? So you want to invest in your network. And number 5 is you want to invest in yourself. This probably outside of building a business, even before you build a business, this probably is going to give you the greatest return. Because we're not going to do any of those other things if we first don't elevate ourselves. And so we want to invest in ourselves primarily because money follows movement, and movement follows the marketplace. And the marketplace is only going to compensate you based off of your value to the market. And if you don't have any value to the market, then it's not going to pay you, and the market's going to value how much you get paid.
Yeah.
So, we always see people that are picketing and chanting and calling for minimum wage and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that it's good or it's bad. I'm just saying there's a better usage of time. And a better usage of time is to improve yourself. Because it might take what, 3, 5, 10 years for somebody to give you a raise or for somebody to elevate minimum wage. Or you may not ever get it.
Yeah.
Bro, if you take the time and invest in yourself and improve yourself, do you know how marketable you could become in just a year's time?
Oh, 100%.
You just demonstrated it.
Yeah.
You are the perfect example. Imagine if you're just sitting on your ass chanting for the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Hey, who's gonna?
Dude, do you know what okay, so I'm gonna give you a perfect example.
But if you think about all the skills that you've been stacking and stuff that you're way better at today than you were exactly a year ago, we could probably write a whole book about it. And because of that, you make more.
Yeah. No, I remember I got to a place where I was getting paid under the table, and I was doing graphics for somebody. And they were giving me $500 a week. Something like that. Yeah, I forgot what it was. But in my mind, I would get so frustrated because I was driving to the office every day. We were working on content strategy. Like, this was before TikTok, all this stuff, right? This was 2018, before I launched my business. And so I got to the place where I would get so mad, and I was already planning to quit. But the guy was like teaching me the game. So I was like, I got to hang in there. I got to hang in there. Finally, I got to the place where I'm like, bro, if I'm gonna get underpaid by somebody, right? Like if somebody is gonna cut my paycheck, or if somebody's not gonna pay me what I feel like I'm worth, then I'm gonna do that for myself. For real, I was like, if anybody's ever gonna underpay me, I'm gonna underpay myself, right? I'm not gonna put that much trust or that much responsibility in somebody. When I turned 18, my mom was like, "Go down the street to McDonald's, go get an application." For what? No. I'm not saying this disrespectfully, but like, and I told her this was my response, as God's my witness. I was like, "Mom, these hands, God didn't make these hands to go and flip burgers." Word for word, I told her this. And I don't mean that as any shade or disrespect to anybody, but that's what separates you, right? Do you want to keep living paycheck to paycheck, right, where you're getting all this taxes taken out, whatever, right? You don't even know where your money's being sent to, by the way, but do you want to keep living paycheck to paycheck, catching up on your rent, catching up on your bills, catching up on all this stuff, or do you want to, right, eventually get to a place where it's freedom? I can't blame nobody else for why I'm not gonna become successful besides myself. Right? And so I got to that place where I'm like, dude, if I'm gonna underpay myself, I'll do it for myself. Or if I'm gonna get underpaid, I'll underpay myself. And I'll know that it's my fault. I'll know that it's because I got lazy. I know that it's because I didn't make a sales call. I know that it's because I didn't go out and get that gig, or you know. So yeah, man. That's the game changer.
Yeah, so there's two things as we look at these 5 things. We talked about investing into a business or within your business, real estate, stock market, your network, and yourself. I guess to summarize everything is you want to stack assets, right? Your business is an asset, real estate, stocks, your network definitely is an asset, yourself is an asset, and you want to stack skills. So within all of those assets, you want to stack your value within all of those, right? Your skill set in those. And as you do that, then it compounds. So at the beginning, it doesn't look like it's very much, right?
Not at all.
But then it just starts to, after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, all of those skills and all of those assets and all of that time now just starts to not just add. We don't want addition or subtraction. We want multiplication. And so it starts to multiply. And so, I'm 44, you're 32. Holy cow, man. Like at 32, let's just, even if we pan the picture out from when you're 62, that's 30 years. Think about if every single year you bought another piece of property. Think about if every single year you just invested 10 grand into the stock market. Think about every single year if you develop another skill set. Right? Think about that for the next 30 years, and by the time you're 62, think about how valuable you've made yourself. Think about that. That's crazy.
100%.
That's crazy. And then what's going to happen by that time is so much of that real estate is going to be paid off. So much of that is going to be cash flowing. All of that real estate is appreciated. All of those stocks have appreciated, right? You're getting dividends from a handful of those. Your network by this time, you call anybody, they're picking up your phone call because you made yourself so damn valuable, right? And now you're at 62 years old, and because you worked on yourself so much, man, you have ultimate peace and freedom. And then you realize you don't even need any of that stuff. Right? Like hey, you're just like a Zen master.
Listen,
right?
If I can get to that place, I'm cool.
Yeah, man. So it's all good. With that. So we have. I've seen you, over the last year, kind of take a lot of these principles, working towards obviously some of these, but have really started to do things in your financial journey that I'm not sure that you had done before.
Yeah. No.
Want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, just to kind of go back, the beginning, we started this conversation by how we were able to kind of negotiate a little bit, right? And just to give you like my thought process on it, when I came into it, I was like, man, I think I changed my price. I don't know, probably like a day or two before I came to sit down and meet with you. So then when we were negotiating, I remember in my mind, I was like, all right, I hadn't like looked up too much, right, about you know, the story, about your story and just everything that, you know, the mission and everything. But in my mind, I was like, it'll probably be a pretty good idea to somehow get this in your contract. Right? Like, I mean, and I was riding like a high because I had just got done shooting for, you know, for that influencer in Arizona. And so in my mind, I was like, all right, well, we can't, you know, meet at this number. However, I think that it'd be very beneficial for me to make that a part of my contract. And it was the fact that, you know, I'd be able to have access to the financial coaching, just in general. And so not even realizing it though, I never had really taken advantage of it. Right? Or I was, maybe at that time I was scared.
I think you were.
I don't know why.
We had tried.
Yeah, we did.
We tried, and then
I don't know why.
gave you an assignment, and you didn't bring it back.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I was scared. It was a lot of stuff, but I was scared. I was living in scarcity, right? Like I was, I just really got into my own head. That's all it was, right? So then what I wanted to do though was just kind of give it time to see if things would get better, like for me. You know, throughout the time, we're not even hitting a year yet, but throughout the time, without realizing, I was just like soaking all this in. I was learning all this, right? Without even realizing it, to where it eventually became like a second language for me. And even like now I talk to my friends about it, and I talk to my family about it. And I remember one person told me like 2 weeks ago, they had pulled me to the side in confidence, and I'll respect them for this, but they were telling me that I'm kind of giving like this like arrogance as of recently.
Sure.
Right? And
that must have been difficult for them to do.
I could imagine. In my mind, I was like, dude, thank you for coming and telling me that, like for reals, because it's just a different perception of it, right? Like, and I think we'll definitely get more in depth about this. I don't know if today or whenever, but I think it came from like very, very deep, right? I was scared when we first started because number one, I didn't know like how I was actually gonna come up with money to like invest, and how we said earlier, some people say like, oh, well, you need a lot of money. We don't.
Yeah.
No. But then, so when this person told me this, they told me that just the way that I changed in terms of how I spoke and my like work ethic, because I was very like, I'm not waiting on nobody, right? And in terms of speaking, I've been telling a lot of people lately, even people in my own family, if you're not bringing me peace of mind or a bag, I don't want to hear it. Sorry if it sounds crazy. You know,
you're intentional.
Yeah, especially
a lot more.
Because now I am now in a place where I can proudly say I have for sure about 25 to 3,000 in my high yield savings. And then I have going to put another 600 or 700 into my investment account. And I don't even like, I used to check my bank account every single day. I think I told you this last week. I've now come to a place where I have not crazy amount of freedom, but I have this freedom where I don't have to stress about.
Sure.
Right? Like if I'm going to need money if my car breaks down or something.
Sure.
And I think that the reason why it took me so long though is, and I know myself, I know that there's something more that was deeper in me that I hadn't dealt with yet that would have probably sent like my financial decisions into like a little bit of a spiral.
Okay.
I had some stuff internally in terms of like emotionally. I didn't know how to really regulate my emotions at that time. As far as like even my financial discipline, I was still, it's like spending money on stuff that I didn't need. And it was like, I think that all that would have been like a negative effect. And I think that I've now reached a place where, because I've gotten a hold a lot more on my emotional intelligence, on my financial disciplines, right? Like now I make it a point to like not spend money. Like if I don't have to spend money today, oh dude, I won. It's a W.
Yeah.
And I'm very close. If I'm not there yet, I think I'm there. But if I'm not, I'm very close to the point where I can actually invest or put money in, right, to an investment instead of spending it every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, it's for me, just watching not just you, but so many members of the Think Life is Different family, man, just like all of us. So me too. A year ago, I look at how I've had to grow and how I've had to expand and how I've had to change a lot of things too, things that I was pretty much dead set on it being a certain way and then having to evolve. And I've seen certainly an evolution in you. And there's one thing to like, some of what, because I would say in the last 12 months, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would just say like being able to have a lot of the experiences that you've had for even things like the podcast tour or just like some of the maybe like locations that we've been in, houses that we've been in.
Yeah.
All even me, I'm looking at some of these houses like, bro, this is crazy. This is madness. Like I've had nice houses before.
Yeah.
But this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say it's like it's one thing to see it in the ear hustle, but it's another thing to see it. And I feel like what you've done a good job with is like paying attention intentionally for a reason. I'm picking up on that. Okay, let me go back and write it down in my notepad. Okay, what is a Roth IRA? What the fuck is that? Okay, let me see what that is. High yield savings, what is that? HYSA. Okay, let me see. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of people that have access but never see it.
Yeah.
And then never do anything with it, right? That application isn't there. And so it's just been fun to see, especially because you and I have similar upbringings, and to see that, no, dude, like anybody, my belief is like anybody with a want to can do this stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody with the want to. It's just principles. It's principles in business. You've utilized a handful of them, and you still are, even when it comes to scaling and expansion, even when it comes to partnerships. And then there's principles in terms of, managing money, using that money to make you more money, and then there's principles in keeping more of that money.
Yeah.
And so just even from a very like entry level sort of standpoint all the way up to, these billionaires and stuff, these people that we really hear about.
Yeah, I think you said something, you said having the want to, right?
Yeah.
I think for me, it was dude, I don't think it's I'm not trying to get emotional. It's not a want to, it's like I have to. Right? And I think it's part of the episode that you and Oliver talked about. It's different. It's way different. I think you get to a place where it's like bigger picture, right? Like I had an amazing opportunity to take my mom and my grandma out for lunch the other day. And I remember when my grandma came into the car, she was like, where are we going? And I was like, you guys pick, right? And even though it's like, it's nothing crazy, but I remember I threw out, this is how I was raised with a bunch of women, right? I threw out 3 options already. Because I'm like, letting them pick is going to be, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember my grandma asked me specifically about one of them. She's like, are you sure? And I was like, don't even worry about it. right? But you get to the place where you have to. It's not like in a matter of somebody's putting a gun to your head, and but it's about, and it reminds me of that episode, right? When
Yeah.
you're kind of breaking down, you're talking about Ezra, because I see that even for myself in my future. I want that, and so I do everything intentionally, or I try to do at least everything intentionally to get to that place of freedom where I know, like, yeah, I still have to be completely raw and transparent. You and I'm sure we still have family members that are still living, in government housing and getting assistance and all that stuff.
100.
And, but yeah, I think it ultimately it comes down to the person. And for me, it came down to, like, this is what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the same for the last 31 years.
Yeah.
When I met you, I think I was 31.
Mm-hmm.
And even the second day I met you, I think I was like breaking down because my car was out for repossession.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so stuff like that, like, it's been a constant thing in my life for the last 10, 20 years. I told you that if somebody wrote me a check for $1 million, I don't think I'd know how to spend it or where to start.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you I do now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to thank you for that, because and I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity and just even bettering my craft and everything, but I don't know exactly how much of a big impact it's going to be. I know it's going to be a big impact.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say, man, that this for me is going to be the game changer for my family.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's going to be the game changer for my family, because we went over Q&As earlier and we talked about what wealthy people do to pass it down to their kids, and you don't do it by, like, withholding these types of conversations.
Yeah.
We never talked about money in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, my grandfather was always the main guy. He still is. And so for me, I start to think about, okay, well, like, what am I going to give my kids or my next generation, right? Like, nah, it's going to be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I thank God, and I'm grateful for that, man, right? That,
Mm-hmm.
like, we didn't really lack in anything. But for me now, thinking futuristically, like, all right, I want to show my son how to have investments, or I want to show my kids where to start and how to get this to, like, so they can take it on another 30, 50 years, whatever, And so, again, back to what I was saying, I'm extremely grateful for that. So thank you for that, for reals. And I've just been, telling people and even my friends and my family that, like, man, this is going to be the game changer, and it's really the having to, and it's the not wanting to still be the same.
Yeah.
The complacency, right? Like, just becoming stagnant and becoming, because everybody, they wake up every single day and they hate their jobs, they hate their lives. And for me, I'm like, dude, I woke up today and I'm like, I fed my dog. My bills are paid.
Sure.
I'm about to go to work, and so I'm extremely grateful, and I'm living proof that you can just start today and just But I think the big part too, though, is the fact that, like, I've been able to surround myself around you, really. And so that's why I'm very big on that too. The mentorship, like, all that stuff is very key, because I see the value that comes in it. Not just, in terms of, like, monetary and all that stuff, but just the way that I talk, like, everything, how I carry myself. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I think it also points to, man, just like how fast things can change when you're intentional.
Yeah.
Right? It's been less than a year. And like I said, man, stack those years, stack those assets, stack the skill sets, and it happens. So I think on that note, man, I think you guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Difference, man. We had to get Tony back on the podcast, and love having Tony on, because it's just, for me, it's so much fun talking to someone who's so close to the journey, but also that's just like a normal person, you know what I mean? And so It is so much fun. So with that being said, please make sure to like and subscribe. Go on and click that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. It really helps us get into more of the algorithms. And we'll see you on the next episode.